So good morning, everybody. Thank you for the introduction. And today I would like to show you or to talk to you about how the experts are working while evaluating the proposals. So this is the definition taken from the work programs, that our role is to assess proposals against predefined evaluation criteria, making sure that the proposal complies with the requirements which are defined by the European Commission. And this is very important to terms, predefined evaluation criteria, and the requirements that the proposal needs to comply. Experts are working according to some principles. All experts are independent, so it means that they assess proposal on a personal basis. They are impartial and treat all proposals equally and evaluate them impartially on their merits. And also they are objective, so they each assess proposal as submitted. So we are not looking for the potential in the proposals. We are reading the proposal very carefully and submit it as is written in the proposals. And usually the proposals are being evaluated by at least 3 experts. Sometimes they are more experts, even 5. And then after individual phase of the assessments, the experts are meeting in the consensus meeting, and they prepare the consensus report. So since all of the experts are quite independent, they need to work on common assessment at the end, final assessment. So how do they do that? Because they are trained by the European Commission how to evaluate proposals, and all the proposals are being evaluated accurate. So all the judgment is being made against the official evaluation criteria of the call and nothing else. So we have that criteria that Amanda presented before, 3 criteria, and under each criteria there are a lot of sub-criteria. And then all the proposals are being consistently evaluated, are being evaluated according to that sub-criteria. So everything started with your idea, and even if the research idea of the proposal is really great, we are looking for a certain issue that are being defined by the Commission. So very often evaluators are saying that evaluators are hunters of weaknesses. So that means that your proposal is supposed to be prepared very carefully. And proposal, in fact, is a writing exercise to answer 4 questions. What will we do? Who will do that? Why do you want that proposal to be implemented, and how do you implement the research? So first, research and innovation and transfer of knowledge in staff exchange. This transfer of knowledge is really important. Then the research team. So this is basically the consortium that you build while preparing the proposal. Then why do you need to do it? So what kind of impact are you expected, and how will you implement the program? So if you are preparing your proposal, you're supposed to describe clearly and convincingly that information. For research and innovation, you're supposed to provide clear introduction. The state-of-the-art section must clearly describe current work in the field, and also you need to present the links between the state-of-the-art and the research program that you propose. Very important is the innovation statement. Commission is looking for innovative project. So you need to convince the experts that there is innovation behind your research. So how to do it? To present some clearly statement when you explain how your research will advance the field and how will be the possible outcomes. And this is really important. The methodology needs to be well described and also the research outcomes clearly specified. What about the transfer of knowledge? This is the core of the staff exchange program. You prepare the plan of secondments, and that secondments need to be linked to the research that you propose and to the transfer of knowledge plan that should be clearly presented. So if you prepare the section about the transfer of knowledge in the proposal, please always address knowledge and capability gaps of the participants and how it links with the skills development of the staff involved. The knowledge that you will transfer is not only for implement the research program, but also to bring benefits to all the participants are the entity and also for the people that are involved in the proposal. All knowledge transfer activity should link directly to the needs of the research. Your transfer of knowledge is being done for a purpose, and you have to justify that. If you're preparing the secondment plan should be linked to the transfer of knowledge and also to the research program. And there was a question before about the exchanges that are possible. The experts are not looking for the balance in the secondment program. They are looking for the justification that that kind of secondment that you proposed is needed for implementing the research program. Also, it should be specified the benefits for the participants, like institutions or staff involved, and the European and global competences. If you are giving the secondment plans and the plans for knowledge being transferred, it should contain the information about knowledge gaps that will be fulfilled, skills development, and research program. So experts will be looking about the rationale behind your secondments plan. What about the research team? You need to provide information about the consortium, and the experts are being asked by the Commission, is that kind of composition that you provide in the proposal is necessary to implement the research, and if the participants are qualified to implement the research program. So you're supposed to introduce each participant and underline its expertise and competences. In part B1, there is that part when you provide a text, you can give the information, but also in part B2, there are tables like that table B5, when you can provide some information about each organization. So this is also additional space, except that 30 pages, when you can provide more information about each individual participants, each institution. What you have to demonstrate in the proposal is that the consortium have complementarity and that each partner of the consortium has a necessary activity in research and in knowledge transfer. It is always well assessed if you demonstrate the synergy that will be obtained during the implementation of the project. Impact. So there is always question why you do the research, why are you going to do the secondments? And this is the criterion 2, impact, when you need to provide expected impact of your project. The impact at the European level should be linked to the European Union development goals. Amanda said about societal challenges, but also the other challenges that European Union define could be used in that section. How your proposal is linked to the strategy of European Union. Also, impact on the individual careers of staff involved and the whole organization supposed to be specific. If you are presented impact on the public and scientific community, experts will be searching for details or looking in your proposal for details. What, for example, what kind of journals you are going to publish, what conferences you are going to attend, what public events you are going to organize, for what audience and for what outcome. So try and be as specific as possible. 3 types of expected impacts need to be addressed under staff exchange program. So this is something new compared to the RISE program. Each proposal is supposed to have scientific, economic or technological and societal impacts. And that expected impacts needs to be defined by the applicant. Really important section, implementation. So if you have really nice team, if you have really nice plan and objectives for the research, you need to demonstrate that this plan will be easily implemented within the duration of the project. How that's supposed to be done? Work packages and tasks need to have precise timing, dependencies between particular work package supposed to be described or explained. The outcome needs to be defined and also rationale linked to the research program. So overall work package or work program needs to be divided into work packages, and every work package needs to be specified. Also require resources like technical resources and also human resources supposed to be defined for work packages and tasks. What about the staff, the leader of the task, the leader of work packages, and that staff resources need to be linked, the qualification of the staff, to the task that are defined. Also, the secondment plan need to be linked to the work packages or tasks. And very often in the description of work packages, the applicants provide the brief list of the secondments that will be done within that task or that work package. Very important thing, quality management and risk management, and that issue is carefully checked by the experts. So risk supposed to be identified clearly, and then contingency measures supposed to be provided. Very important that all numbers that you provide in the proposal should be checked twice. Very often there are some last-minute changes made in the proposal, or at least we think that they were last-minute changes, because in the part A and part B, all the numbers needs to be exactly the same, like person months, number of secondments, participants that are involved. So if you are doing last-minute changes in the proposal, please check if in part A and part B, these changes have been made. And general tips. Your text or your proposal should be written simple. Why? Because this is interdisciplinary research. I've never seen within staff exchange proposal, the proposal that is only within one discipline. So you need to write for 2 levels of audience, the experts in the domain and also the researchers from different fields. Usually when we have different experts and you see the case studies, the example of the proposals that have been funded, there are experts from different fields evaluated your proposal. So for example, try to write it in the way that the experts from physics will understand the environmental section. Also, very often the reviewers read English as a second language. So if you use long sentences and sophisticated vocabulary, that can create opposite effect that we wanted to have. Clear English, short sentences, everything easily understandable. Also, very important, please address all criteria by name required by the call text. As Amanda showed you, there are some documents that you need to read before you started to work at the proposal. And this is the example 1 page of the part template of part B of the proposal. And you're supposed to give the required subheadings in the text: expected scientific impact, expected economic impact, expected societal impacts. This information, if they are required, they will be assessed by the experts. So please try to prepare at least very short paragraph about each required subheadings. Do not miss any part of the proposal. Try to be clear and concise, which is easily understandable and quite well received by the experts, is thesis style. Present a thesis and then explain the thesis. So the proposal, for example, the proposal is innovative. It will advance the state of the art, but please make, this is quite a smart move, to make the work of evaluator easier, a bit easier. Also try to be specific. Provide necessary details of every activity or task. Who will do it? When will be done? Where will be done? In which institution? How will be done? Why do you need that activity or task? What is the purpose? What is the outcome? What is the expected impact? And also, please keep the page limit. The experts will disregard any page except 30 pages. Also, what we see sometimes, some applicants try to reduce margins, reduce the font size. This is building the bad impression of the proposal. Try to play safe. And general conclusion, always read the call carefully and make a list of all issues to be explicitly addressed. Do not miss any requirement as defined in the call. If you miss that requirements, that could be defined as a weakness. Also, please be realistic about goals, deliverables, and impacts. Keep the proposal simple as possible, but please be specific. And also, I would recognize thesis styles. And always at the very late stage, just before the submission, please check the consistency, especially numbers between part A and part B. Thank you for your attention, and this is the time for questions.